Okay, here's a news story, more adult in nature, and it's a real short story, so it's only going to be about 10 minutes long or so. And this one is called Dreams Number One. A man is sitting in the passenger seat of his car, and he looks to the left, and it is his wife. Yes, she is 20 years younger, so beautiful that he slides across the seat to get some affection as they are stopped at a red light. She is dressed in a pink and white check dress. The checks are about 1/4 inches in size, and she looks wonderful. She pushes him away as she claims that she doesn't want to get her dress all messed up. They drive up to some building, and she tells him to go inside and she will park the car. Standing in some line, Bob Mason is greeted by people that he does not know, and he is not sure where he is. A former president of the United States is congratulating him on winning a primary and wishes him the best in his campaign. Someone comes up behind and says, "Senator, what do you think about these campaign giveaways?" They are plastic tumblers in muted colors with a 3-inch round base, a 2-inch stem, going up to a 9-inch tall glass. It looks like something one would use at a formal dinner, but it's plastic. Bob says it looks fine as he moves up the line of strangers, and stranger after stranger slaps him on the back, gives him congratulations, and smile after big smile. He keeps moving up the line until he enters a big hall filled with hundreds of people. There is red and white bunting all around the room, so it must be some big party going on. He still has no idea what he's doing there. He didn't recall running for government office, or even for dog catcher at that matter. He sees his wife standing across the room, way too close to another man, and they seem to be too familiar and way too friendly with each other. The man gives his wife a big kiss, and she returns it warmly. She turns to see her husband watching her, and she turns and kisses the man again, and even more warmly this time. He looks into the center of the room, and he sees an 8-foot round table with a huge 4-tier cake with white frosting on top with a big 45 and 5-inch tall numbers. The wife moves to the table, grabs a microphone, and asks the crowd to sing happy birthday to her husband as she points her hand and arm his way for the large crowd to know where he is standing in the room. They do and start singing. He is pushed toward the table by those around him and behind him, and he gets about 10 feet from the table. There are round tables all around the room with chairs for all the guests to sit in, and there are 8 chairs per table, and they all have pre-cut slices of birthday cake in place. The crowd all moves to find a place to sit, and they start enjoying the cake and the ensuing party. The wife moves back to the cake, cuts a large wedge of cake, and places it on a plate, and puts in a clear plastic fork on the plate and wishes him happy birthday with a fake kiss on his cheek. She then hands him a cordless telephone, and he finds a place to sit down, and he does. Everyone at his table had already begun eating the cake. The phone rings and he picks it up. The caller announces to Bob that he is from the law firm of Slip, Trip, and Fall, and the man walking up to the table is serving him with divorce papers from his wife of 20 years. He has the papers stuffed into Bob's empty hand. He then looks across the room at his wife, still with the other man, and she has a huge smile on her face, and then turns sour and mean just as she stares at Bob, and she kisses the man next to him again. Bob puts the phone down and looks at the papers he has not opened. What is the point, he thinks. He was told what they are. He is totally lost in his thoughts. He gets up from his chair and heads to the side of the big room, and he sees a door and goes inside where there is a large wooden desk and a leather chair. He sits down, he puts the papers on the table and his head in his hands as he cannot believe what just happened. It makes no sense. He never saw any of this coming. He gets up and sees a sofa off to the left, and he lays down, holding the papers on his chest. He falls asleep and sees himself in heaven in some line. Everyone is dressed in light gray sweatsuits with white and old-style tennis sneakers. He sees lines everywhere with people moving up to those in front of tables and are giving directions on where to go. "What happened to you?" the man asked, standing behind Bob. "I don't know," replied Bob. "I was laying on my sofa as my wife has just served me with divorce papers, and I was so shocked I just had to lay down," he added. "That is quite a wound you have on the back of your head," the stranger stated. "You must have taken quite a hit to get that," he added. Bob reached for the top of his head and could feel it, but there was no blood and he did not feel any pain at all, but he knew something wasn't right. What was he doing in this line, he thought. The man behind him asked, "Do you know where you are?" Bob said, "I have no idea." "Do you know what this place is?" he asked. "Why, this is the line for Judgment Day," the man replied. "We are all dead." "Someone must have wanted you out of the way and hit your head so hard you died," the man concluded. Bob then thought about the party, his wife across the room with another man, and how he felt sort of out of place, and his wife was so cold toward him as they were driving to the party he knew nothing about. That is it. Someone wanted him out of the way. Bob moved to the front of the line, and the person at the table, dressed in all white, had a special glow and aura about them. The person at the table told Bob he did not belong there, that he was way too early, and that he would have to come back later. "Where am I supposed to go?" he asked the person. "Why, back home," the person said with a smile. "You are not due here for another 50 years, he added. "Go on," he stated kindly, "and just head out back. Wait into that light." The person pointed to behind Bob. Bob started walking into that direction. Soon he saw nothing but light and mist, and no one else was around him. He kept walking and walking, and soon the bright light overwhelmed him, and he fell down. The light started to diminish more and more, and he could then feel someone caressing the side of his head. He slowly opened his eyes, but he was having a hard time opening them, but the room was only dimly lit. He kept trying to see what was happening, but then he could see his wife in the same dress she was at the party. She had tears running down her face, and she reached down and kissed him so warmly. "Oh, honey," she said, "we have all been so worried about you for days and days," she said. "We were in a car wreck on the way to your birthday party at campaign headquarters, and some man ran a light. We didn't think you were going to make it as he ran into your side of the car." Bob's wife was wiping the tears from her eyes as the doctor pulled her back. He too had a small pen light and was moving it back and forth across Bob's eyes. "Bob," he said, "would you try and follow the light?" he asked. Bob did. "That is great," the doctor said. "We were quite worried about you. You have been out for days now," he added. "Your vital signs are good, but you will need plenty of rest, and we will probably keep you here for about 4 more days. Nothing is broken, but you sure took a nasty hit to the back of your head. But we patched it up, and it will take you a while to heal." "Thank you, doctor," said Bob's wife as she moved back closer to the bed and to Bob. Her smile was loving, and she kept kissing him on the right cheek, and the tears began flowing again. "Well, how is the campaign going?" he asked. "What campaign?" she asked. "What are you talking about?" she questioned. "We were going to the church where you were having your birthday party," she stated, in an inquisitive look on her face. "Who said you were running for some office?" she asked. No one," said Bob. "It must have been just some crazy dream," he added. "Can I ask you something?" he said. "Sure, honey, anything," she replied. "Are we getting a divorce?" he asked. "Not in a million years," she smiled. "Not in a million years." "Well, that's good," he said, "as that would kill me."